This is a Glass Box Media podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to My Worst Date. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
And I sound like I'm coming to you through my nostrils because I am.
You are. We are live inside of Cassie's nose. Oh,
man. So you guys know I went and got my sinuses taken care of, which, it is gross. It's awful. I hated it. But it was a couple things.
Describing it to me, I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
This is why I don't go to the doctor ever. I'm like, please don't.
But at
do
the
that to me.
end of this tunnel, I'm going to be able to breathe out of both nostrils. And that's really fucking exciting.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
So-
it's worth it for sure.
I had like a couple things done, right? So I had like this balloon that expands your sinuses and like
Cassie
clears
had
them
a
up.
balloon in
I
her
know.
forehead.
This is how serious things work.
That's how serious. I couldn't see it. So I was like, this is great.
And it's not a child's party balloon.
No, it's totally different.
It's a
No,
medical
Christina.
balloon.
They weren't just making like
Balloon animals.
Oh, God.
Like,
the squeak. Even the squeak of the balloon. Oh, it's awful. But the sound that it makes inside of your head is awful as well. It literally is like a crackle and pop. So it's like, it just sounds like cartilage breaking
Oh,
why
inside
would you
your
do
head.
this to our
God.
listeners?
Oh, yeah. Welcome.
The visual image, the mental image.
So then also I had like lasers inside my nostrils as well to like laser off like this area. Anyway, all of this so I could breathe. And that's a very exciting prospect. But I have to tell you something I learned about myself.
Yeah.
And that is Chris came with me and he was allowed to sit in the room. He was like, it was like for him, he was like watching Nova. Like he was like, this is fascinating.
Oh no, thank
He's
you.
just
I'm
like,
I'll pick you up in 2 hours. Bye. Like,
same. He's like, this is so cool. And my doctor is like trying to tell me what they're going to do. And my husband's like, please stop telling her what you're doing. And I was like, exactly.
I
Oh
don't
my
wanna
God.
know. I really don't want to know.
He's like, this is going to hurt. I'm like, please stop telling me that. Like, don't say
I
it
have
might hurt.
never heard a doctor say that. They're always like, you're going to feel a little pressure. And I'm
Pain.
like,
Yeah.
pressure means pain.
Yeah, pressure
No,
means
it's gonna
pain.
hurt.
For sure.
And don't even tell me that either. Like, I will let you know if it hurts. And so that was the other thing. It was like, he kept saying, does this hurt? Is that hurt? Does this hurt? And I'm like, you'll know if it hurts. I was like, please stop asking me because every time you say, does it hurt? My mind goes, I should be
Should
hurt.
it?
I should be hurting. Am I hurting? Then I'm like thinking about my whole body. How does it feel? Am I hurting?
I mean, I would like to know if it is a painful procedure because on the other side of that, like we've discussed before about like IUDs, and
Right.
I actually saw a doctor talking about that. And she was a female gynecologist, and she said, yeah, we don't tell people because if people knew how much it hurt, no one would do it.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. Still
Because
fucking
it's
do it.
so painful.
You just got to be upfront. I knew going in it was going to be painful. That's fine.
I want to know. I don't want you to lie to me and tell me like it's just a little pinch, it's just a little pressure. If it's actually going to be painful, because I want to make
so
an
painful.
informed
Yes.
decision about like what I'm going in for. You know what I mean? So in that respect, I'm with you. But I'm like.
Yeah, I mean
don't
more like
want-
as it's happening.
And I don't want all of the details of the procedure. Like I certainly don't want that. Like I'm good. Just tell me, like give me the overview.
Yeah.
That's enough. I don't need to know all the ins and outs. Like I trust you. Hopefully
full
you're
on-
my doctor.
He's full on narrating the entire procedure. And I'm
Wow.
like, he's like, I'm not telling you, I'm telling your husband. So he knows what he's watching. I'm like, but I'm still here.
He doesn't need to know. Like Chris doesn't need the
Chris was
details
all
of
about it.
step by step. He might enjoy it. That doesn't mean he needs to know.
I was just sitting there like holding myself as still as possible, like literally just clenching my hands together, eyes closed, just water drooling out of them because I wasn't crying. It was just water just was rolling out of them. It was fine. And just sweating my face off. I was
Oh,
so hot.
God.
I like just sitting there sweating to death. Like, this is fine.
Oh my gosh.
No. See, I'm one of those people. I'm like, you need to just take me out. Like I want to be under for absolutely. I don't care how minor
For
the procedure
everything.
is. Just put me
Yeah.
out. Just put me out. It's fine. Like I don't want to be awake for this at all.
Oh man, I'm the same way. I'm really I don't want to be awake. It's weird. It's a weird sensation when you're numb and you can feel things still going on in your body.
Yeah,
it's weird.
The only thing I ever had, knock on wood, because I haven't broken a bone or had any like major surgery. I didn't even have to have my wisdom teeth taken out, so I've never had to do anything like at all serious. But I did when I was a kid. I had this like sore on the inside of my mouth that like would not go away because like sometimes
like
you
a
get
canker
like
sore type
a canker sore, right? But they go away like usually. And it was like months, and it wouldn't go away. And so we went to the doctor, and they were like, "Okay, we're gonna need to like remove it, and then we'll just stitch it back up or whatever." And I was probably like 8 or something like that, and I'd never had anything done before. And I was like, they're going to put me under, right? Because the idea that you're going to cut my mouth and then sew me up like with
so scary.
Was scary to me. And so I remember like they took me back. They put a like a washcloth over my eyes. And it was very weird because, I didn't feel anything. They completely numbed the area. It's very minor procedure, but it was very weird to know that like people are in there doing stuff and you can hear them talking and they're like, pass me the scalpel, pass me the like blah, blah, blah. And you're like, ugh. And by the way, you can still kind of see. It's not like, you're completely blindfolded.
Right. And you can feel it. Like when things are numb, that like, yes, the pressure, but you feel like it's the poking and pushing, and you're like that. I don't love what that pressure feels like. It feels like you're ripping my face off, actually, a little bit. You know?
Oh my god,
face off,
exactly.
This is a very special Christmas episode.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Happy holidays, bitches.
Hey. So
hopefully next time's, in the new year, hopefully I'll be healed by then, and we'll find out what my real voice sounds like when I can actually breathe. I know.
Wow.
I know. It's amazing. As I sit here with my bloody tissue, I apologize.
Looking like you got the black lung over there.
I know. Like I just got the consumption.
Yes, you were a frail damsel in a Dickens movie. Yeah.
Very much.
Okay, so I do think that we need to discuss this because it has been kind of everywhere, and I will say I was very heated initially.
Are you talking about the shit that Ben Affleck said about Jennifer Garner?
Yes. Okay.
I don't know enough about this except that I saw that he did, and then I saw that's not what he meant or said.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So I did some deep digging. I read some CNN articles about this.
Wow.
Okay. So, because I was
did your own research,
really annoyed, and like, Lord, do not put me in a position to have to defend Ben Affleck. Like, I don't want to be this person.
Right.
You don't want me to be this person. I don't want to be this person.
But we got to do what we got to do.
We got to do what we got to do.
What's right's right.
That's right. And so the headline basically said that Ben Affleck was an alcoholic because he felt trapped in his marriage, and that if he was still married to Jennifer Garner, he would probably still be an alcoholic. And that headline is real fucked up. And I texted you about it because I was like, it sounds like he's blaming his alcoholism, something that he had well before
her. Right.
And after as well. You know, she helped him after they had split to like get sober. Right. So I was like, that's really messed up that he would say that. But then I realized, I was like, oh man, they really did take kind of like something out of context from a very long, 2-hour conversation.
Right.
But I actually
hate that.
Yeah. And I actually think it's a far more interesting conversation because he does talk about how much he loves and respects Jennifer Garner and how well they get along and they co-parent very well. But that the relationship it wasn't a working marriage for either of them. And so then
there's a reason people get divorced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And it doesn't mean that either party is a bad person. Sometimes things just don't work out. Sometimes you're just not the best for each other.
That's right.
And so I did read a CNN article where it was an addiction expert talking about relationships and how relationships and addiction work and how oftentimes it's like a chicken or the egg situation when he says he felt trapped in the relationship and that's what contributed to his alcoholism. I mean, that probably is true because when you're unhappy, you lean on coping mechanisms that are unhealthy, right?
That's right.
So it's not Jennifer Gardner's fault
for sure
that his coping mechanism
is
was
alcohol or whatever, right?
So I think it's actually a far more interesting conversation than just taking the headline.
Yeah. I have to say, when I read that at first, my first gut reaction was like, "Oh,
Fuck you.
fuck him."
Fuck you. Yeah, because we
Yeah.
all remember what Jennifer Gardner did for him.
Right.
Like, seriously.
But the basically what you said, like no good marriages end in divorce. So, I definitely have come to that. But I want to add something interesting to this conversation.
Okay.
In that I have been seeing on TikTok people talking about blind items and like like PR relationships.
Yes, I'm on blind item TikTok as well.
Oh,
Yes.
I don't know about this. I don't
It's
know about
spicy.
this.
So much.
So there's a lot of evidence that this Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez thing is a false flag relationship.
Yeah, a lot of people think that it's staged. A lot of people think that it's staged.
False flag though, like that kind of like that description.
It's
so good.
And I when I watched this TikTok,
I
was
want to
like,
believe in love, but I'm
oh
being
yeah, no,
convinced.
it's a PR. It looks PR.
it looks PR.
It looks PR.
It is. And I was like, I knew this in my heart. I felt so validated. I was like,
You're like, I told them, bitches. I told them.
nope.
I just kind of have a feeling of like, sure, it is, but also too, I don't have the energy enough to care
True. Also
that it is. So like for me, I'm just like, okay, live your life, whatever. If it makes you feel good, great. I don't have the energy to spend on whether it is or isn't real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
same with
Same
with Pete Davidson and Kim
Sure.
Kardashian. Like,
It
there's
works.
a ton of evidence to suggest that this is a PR relationship.
Right.
You know, especially in the wake of Astroworld and all of that stuff, all the heat that was on the Kardashian family after that, that like that's part of what's going on here. But again, I don't care.
I know. I just
do we care though about whether or not Zendaya is pregnant?
Oh, of course we care.
do not think she's pregnant.
I don't think she
After
is
I
either.
read the article, I was like, but at first I was like, oh, hey, what? Because so for anybody who's listening who hasn't seen, there was a lot of spin going around at the last opening of the new Spider-Man movie, and Tom Holland was saying that
King, Tom Holland.
Yeah, he was like, I'm ready to, kind of retire his character a little bit. He's also kind of just like, I'm ready to take a step back from my acting career, and I really want to become a dad. I want to look at my future. I want to look at, being a good father type thing. And it was just like, wait, what? Like, are you saying this because you is?
The world, it's not, we don't live in a good enough world where Zendaya and Rihanna are pregnant simultaneously.
I wish, and their little babies could be like
Best
BFF.
friends.
Oh my gosh, so sweet. Yeah, I really don't think that she is, but it was cute to hear him say. He seems so
Grounded.
lovely,
Yeah.
and so in love with her.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Like it is so precious.
And each other. Like, I
Yeah.
think she's just
Oh, yeah.
as into him
Oh,
as
yeah.
he is
Yeah.
into her. And I think it's so cute. I thought it was really sweet, too, because in the article I read, Tom Holland was saying that he's really excited to become a dad. And one of the reasons is because he had such a great role model. He was talking about how amazing his own father was. And I was like, that's really special when you know that you got somebody who's like, I can't wait to be a dad so that I can do the things my dad did.
Yeah.
As opposed to
And I
like,
feel
some
like-
people who are just like, came from really awful situations,
Yeah.
and
well, and I feel like it can go one of two ways. And I
That's
feel like
right.
we have an example of both of those in our friend group right now, currently, who have
Absolutely.
babies, where like, one had a really horrible parental situation.
That's right.
And wanted to have her own family so that she could model a better, like
Start
better,
fresh.
Yeah.
Fresh
Experience.
start. Yeah.
And then we have another who had a fantastic, wonderful, loving, supportive parents. And I think a big part of the reason why she wanted to have her own family was because she wanted to have that as well.
Yeah.
Like, that wonderful thing that was modeled for her. Like,
right. Well,
so-
and in that relationship in particular, she had a really good relationship and had a really great role model situation. Her husband did not.
Right.
And so I think it's been so special for him to be able to have that fresh start, to show, almost prove to himself, I think, as well, that you can, like, parenting it's tough. Parenting is difficult, but parenting's also spectacular and amazing for people who want to be parents. And, it's also a really great rewarding thing. And I think he's able to write his own, script for what that looks like.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting.
I really love that we're having this conversation around the desire and not the expectation to have children.
Yes.
Like Tom Holland clearly desires to have children and
Right.
desires to have a family. And those people always make the best parents.
Of course.
Like the people who have made an informed decision because it's something they really want for their life, where I feel like for so long it was just something that was very much expected of you to do. And then you end up being resentful or
bitter or whatever.
Yeah. You're just not equipped or whatever
Sure.
it is, So I love that the culture is hopefully moving more in that direction.
Well, I know that we've all had the conversation before about just generationally, the differences between how our parents, our grandparents or whatever, hitting those check marks. You get married or you go to college, you get married, you have buy a house, you have a family, you retire. It's just check marking your life off. And I think that we, probably late Gen Xers, millennials and beyond have been there's so much more to life than
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, and also the culture has shifted in such a way that a lot of those check marks are not attainable. So
right.
we had to restructure the way that we did things.
Can I tell you, I know that I've shared that I've been watching Hoarders, but I had to stop because it was making me so angry that these people own a house.
Oh.
And that's what they do to it.
Pisses
They
you off, doesn't
fill it with buckets
Shit.
of shit and dead fucking animals. And I'm like, really? I can't get a fucking mortgage? But fucking this person that collects teddy bears, 18,000 teddy bears
Yeah.
is allowed to have a house?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, and
and I think-
oftentimes they have kids and stuff who could take the house.
Right.
Yes.
And they won't give it up either.
Right.
And you're like,
Yeah. Yeah. I just can't understand that mentality. I think it's funny too, because, we've for years been and I'm not saying that this isn't true and accurate still, but it sucked to be a millennial because when you graduated college, you were literally hitting a crisis. Imagine being Gen Z though. Not only are you coming out of college or of age when it's not the greatest time in the world, you had a shitty ass president. Then we went into a fucking global pandemic for 2 years. I mean, and I'm not negating or downplaying what the millennials went through. I'm just saying this fucking sucks
no,
too.
It
This
sucks
is
all
just
the way around,
shit.
and it's going to continue to
Yeah.
suck until there's some real structural change, which there
I mean,
might not be. God, this is the most uplifting Christmas episode we've ever had. Wow.
say.
Happy New Year's.
Now we're okay, railing against capitalism. How did we get here?
Hi, this is the anti-capitalist podcast now. Okay, no, here, I'll get us back on track. Listen,
Okay.
this is the last episode to come out before Christmas.
Yeah.
I was driving around with Anthony last night to mail some Christmas packages.
Yeah.
And we were listening to Christmas music, and Carol of the Bells came on.
Oh my
And
God.
that song, I was sitting there listening to it, and I was like, and if you don't know, it's da, 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 right? So I'm listening to that song, and I turned to Anthony and I was like, there is no reason for this song to go this hard. That is a Christmas song that is going
All
so
the way.
hard, like cranked up to 11.
Yeah.
I'm the intensity.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the version that's that orchestra
Handbells?
or
It's
whatever
like
and
handbells.
stuff?
No,
and
it's
it's
the one with the orchestra.
it's
yeah.
transcendental or something
whatever
like that.
that is.
Whatever that is. Trans-Siberian Orchestra
yes.
or whatever. And there's literally the metal version
Yes.
of Carol of the Bells.
So hard that I'm just oh my God, Christmas doesn't need to go this hard. And so it made me think, I was like, it's been a while since we have fuck, marry, killed something that wasn't people.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes.
And we should fuck, marry, kill Christmas songs.
Okay.
Amazing.
Because that's a particular type of person, that specific version of Carol of the Bells. What kind of human being would that be? That
it is
intense.
the Rock.
Yes. Yeah. I actually.
Christmas
Yeah.
Carol.
Yeah.
It really is.
Or it's definitely a pro wrestler for sure, or a tattoo artist, one of the two.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna go with Santa Baby.
Oh, Gross.
The
Well, then I'm
opposite
going to
of
do
that.
the ubiquitous "All I Want for Christmas Is You."
Oh no.
Hey, it's
Okay.
got to be
It's
awful.
got to be. This is great. So we have to people these. We have "All I Want for Christmas Is You" by Mariah Carey. We've got "Santa Baby," who's Marilyn Monroe.
No,
It's not Marilyn Monroe, but it's I mean, all of the versions are
Yeah.
very like breathy,
Yeah.
sexy baby, sounding.
our
And-
favorite.
yeah, a sexy baby,
And then Metal Christmas.
And then metal
Bells.
Christmas. Metal Christmas, who definitely does like extreme sports.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's full of adventures.
Oh my God, you definitely are going kayaking.
Oh,
Yeah.
for
This
sure.
art.
Oh, yeah.
I think I have to marry this guy. I'm not gonna lie. He sounds so fun.
he sounds fun. He does sound like he might like jackhammer like in bed.
Oh, true. He also does sound like he might be like that family that gets up and
Oh yeah,
Like,
they're
they-
running. They're
He's-
running They're doing triathlons. They're
He
No.
drinks Mountain Dew Code Red. For sure.
only at Christmas though because it's red. Otherwise, it's straight Mountain Dew.
yeah. Like I feel like these three, like he drinks like really strong eggnog, like with like a lot of.
I just see
whiskey,
John Cena.
You know,
Totally. John Cena. Absolutely.
I love John Cena though.
That song doesn't I will tell you my worry about this person. This
there are a few
fictional
worries,
person
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
of Carol of the Bells.
Uh-huh.
That song does not have a sense of humor.
I was
about
just going to
itself.
say it. The things that we've already said that they
It
sound-
takes itself very seriously.
Yes,
a
and
little too
that's kind
serious.
of what I was thinking when you said The Rock or John Cena. Like
Yeah.
when I was listening to it yesterday, it almost felt like I feel that composer, like or the conductor. Like when I'm listening to that song, I can just see in my head this conductor going absolutely fucking ham, and so it always just makes me think of like you're a little academic. Right, but you think that you know it more than everybody. Like you know,
Yeah,
there's
you're
there's
like
a little touch
you're like,
of that.
Google it. Look it up.
Look it up.
Do your research.
Do your
And you're-
research. Oh God. Ugh,
Yeah,
you
I
guys
feel
are
like
ruining
I
him.
do feel like Carol the Bells, like while fun, could be a little mansplaining.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
and
Totally.
I don't know.
You're right. Carol the Bells is mansplaining.
Yeah, but also,
But
like,
Santa Baby, fucking God.
No, you can't marry that energy.
No,
either.
I can't even fuck that energy. It's so gross.
Yeah, it's
me.
not my jam.
No, it's very, very much a like. Seems like somebody that can't do for themselves.
Ugh,
You know what I mean?
needy.
It's like
And doesn't want to.
doesn't
either.
want to.
Yeah.
You're gonna take care of me,
Yeah.
Santa Baby.
Oh, I
Gross.
hate that.
Ugh. You know what's worse than baby voice? Baby voice with what also sounds like it might be a cold.
I think it added to it. Honestly.
I think you got to marry All I Want for Christmas Is You.
It's steady. They make a
Very steady.
It's very financially
reliable.
stable.
It is financially stable.
For
Yes.
sure.
Definitely reliable.
There's a sense of humor and playfulness.
Highs
about
and
it.
lows.
Highs and lows.
The only
hits all the
thing-
notes,
the
if you know what I
only
mean.
thing about All I Want for Christmas Is You is
It's really for everybody, and it will get around.
it. Look, it might be an open marriage situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's a person that needs attention for
Yeah.
sure. Like that
Oh,
person
yeah.
needs to be attended
I
to.
can't.
Um,
You're nope. It's I'm out. You already said things I hate
Deuces.
so much right now.
This is a
don't have
really
time
tough
for
one.
this.
it's hard. Yeah.
I think I've decided.
Okay.
I'm going to marry hardcore
Carol of the Bells.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, kayaking is fun.
Yeah, it is rock
Yeah.
climbing. Love it.
And
Men-
listen, he's really passionate.
Yes.
Really
Yeah.
intense. And that could be fun. That could
Yeah.
be good. I like people that are ambitious and passionate and
I also feel
and
like he
everything.
would defend you. Like Carol
Yes.
the Bells has your back. Like
Yeah.
he might mansplain to you sometimes, and that is annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
But I do feel like if someone else tried to mansplain to you in his presence, he
Not
would
on his
defend
watch.
you.
Yes.
So
not on his watch.
So yeah, I'm gonna marry hardcore Carol of the Bells. And I'm gonna fuck All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I know it's been
It's fun.
around.
it has.
it's okay.
It's
It's-
experience.
We like a
It's-
slut on this podcast.
Hell
I'm,
yeah.
I'm for it.
We don't slut shame. We slut.
At all.
We slut pride.
yeah.
Yes.
Slut praise. Indeed.
Slut praise.
Indeed.
and
That's the name of the episode. It's slut praise.
slut praising.
Merry Christmas.
But yeah, it's to me, I'm like, you know, it'll be fun. It'll
Yeah.
be a fun night.
A lot of
She knows all the
glitter
tricks.
Yeah.
sparkles.
Yeah.
Yeah, high heels. Like, oh, yes.
Stockings.
Sexy. I do think it'll be sexy fun times.
Yeah.
With All I Want for Christmas.
That
Is
song
You.
is going to hang your stockings with care, huh?
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Okay. I mean, I do know that I have to kill Santa Baby. Like,
Ugh.
I can't. The sexy baby energy. We slept praise on this podcast, and I'm like, do
But we baby shame.
what you do, but like I don't like that like sexy baby trope, and I feel like that song embodies that more than maybe any other song,
Yeah.
Right.
to ever exist.
Yeah.
And so I have to kill it
Mm-hmm.
with fire.
Mm-hmm.
And the other two, okay. I don't know. Okay, here's where I'm at, because All I Want for Christmas Is You is fun.
Yeah,
and I'm
I
that
feel like
is going to be
that-
such a
Yeah.
fun time.
I feel like that's your match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go that way, just because I'm just like, oh man, like I think that extreme sports, Carol the Bells is going to be like so like, and I actually think like
You married Creed. Takes itself way too fucking serious.
photograph.
Nickelback.
Nickelback.
We already know how she feels about
We
Nickelback.
do. We do. Stan. But I think that Carol of the Bells is going to be like fine. Like I actually think that we could totally be friends. Like, and he'd be cool. And I would love to go rock climbing with Carol of the Bells. I think like if I'm trying to get out there and like get my extreme sports on, like that's the person I want to be with. And I will listen to Carol of the Bells while we're kayaking, because I feel like that would be a very intense, motivating experience.
Has no reason to go that
For
hard.
Christmas. I'm like,
No.
there's no reason. But I do think I'm going to marry All I Want for Christmas Is You. I realize it may be a bad decision just because like that
You're
song
a praise
is
heavy person though. You could put up with somebody who needs a lot of like pats on the back.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like I could manage, and it would be fun, and we'd share a closet.
Yeah.
Which I love. Like so many high heels. Like
Oh, yeah.
I think it would be a good time. So yeah, I'm going to do that.
I am going to marry the metal Carol of the Bells. It is the right move for me. I love the extreme sports, and just as you can put up with probably dealing with somebody who's needs a lot of attention.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Yeah.
There's like very little that annoys me more than people who are
Insecure.
Needy in that way.
needy, and yeah, I hate it. I hate it. So
Santa
that
Baby
to
is
me,
out for
but
you too.
Yeah, Santa Baby is a Dunzo Washington for me. I'm going to fuck All I Want for Christmas because it makes sense. It's definitely sexy.
Yeah.
It's way sexier. I'm definitely attracted to it at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's saying something.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, metal Carol the Bells. The thing about the mansplaining is I feel like I'm not a misfixer. I don't like to fix things, but I do feel like with Mr. Mansplain, it's not going to last very long with me. I don't see that lasting very long. And I'm like, you need to John Cena up real
He's
quick.
going to have to develop a sense of humor
Very quickly.
to hang out
Yeah.
with you.
I think
That's
that you would put him in his place pretty quickly. Yeah. Which, maybe he's into that.
Maybe,
honestly.
huh?
Like maybe that
Huh?
he's like, I've just been waiting for somebody to put me in my place.
I've been waiting.
I love that. I love when we get to do these inanimate objects. That was a good one. Well, you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
Yeah.
All right.
And we're back. All right, Christina.
I'm already laughing.
You look gleeful right now. I'm excited.
I'm very excited. So,
Yeah.
So I found this story on Reddit. It said, this is quite possibly the worst Christmas gift ever. Okay. My partner is a shitty gifter.
I love it.
All who have been gifted by him knows this. We avoid giving shitty gifts by asking people exactly what they want, or else they get something like chocolates or a gift card. Well,
Yeah, just give money at that point. I'm like, if you know you're really bad at giving gifts, like I've never been offended when someone has given me money. Like I'm
Never.
like, this
No.
is
Never.
great. Thank you.
always
Always fits.
very appreciated. Well, this year I asked for specific manicure things like gel polish and whatnot. It's on an Amazon wish list. You add it to your fucking cart. It's easy as shit.
Click on the link. You click on the link.
Buy now.
He bought me
Oh no.
fucking altar bread.
I'm sorry, what?
The little Jesus crackers you get when you go to church.
That tastes like styrofoam.
The fucking Eucharist, guys.
Oh no.
Body of Christ.
Wait, what?
The body of Christ.
How?
What in the actual fuck am I going to do with that?
It's like 400 crackers. You know it comes in like such bulk because it's for an entire congregation too. Like it's like,
oh my God. I don't even have a communion, so he knows I don't get them when I rarely go to church. Here's a link if you don't know what I'm talking about. Altar bread, white host, cross design box of 1,000. 1,000!
How did this happen?
I'm absolutely furious.
How?
I'm at a loss for words. And yes, it really is my Christmas gift.
How?
Because I saw a payment for something in my email. It's my account. But I haven't purchased anything in the past few days. Partner said, don't look at it. It's your Christmas gift.
No.
Why?
What if it's a joke? I pray.
I hope.
He doesn't even know I know yet. I can't even now.
I need to know what the explanation
my
is.
God.
It has to be a joke.
I hope
has to
so.
be.
People in Reddit were calling them Jeez-Its.
Jesus!
Yes! I was like, that's fucking terrible.
Oh, it's so weird.
What a strange Christmas.
Jesus!
They don't even taste good.
No.
Like I could be convinced if they were like delicious.
Listen, when
You
I was
know
a
what
kid, I thought they tasted delicious with grape juice.
Oh, well, okay. I didn't grow up Catholic, so I
didn't
never
either.
had those. In my church, they were like, you better come take communion because it was, they gave us sweet Hawaiian bread. It was like that sweet Hawaiian bread, and then you dipped it in the.
You got actual bread?
Oh, I got sweet Hawaiian bread that I dipped into grape juice, which was delicious.
Oh my goodness. No, that is not our experience.
No.
First of all, we had wine as kids.
Yeah.
So
They're like, wine's fine.
The Eucharist cracker was awful.
A cracker, yeah.
It was like it's like a wafer.
styrofoam.
It's
Yeah,
like a styrofoam wafer.
I had it for the first time when I went to church with my Catholic friend, and I was like, which by the way, I wasn't supposed to take communion.
No,
didn't
definitely
know.
not supposed to take communion.
Didn't know. But yeah, I was like, this is terrible. I was like, you guys are really getting ripped off over here. Like I have
bread. King's Hawaiian bread in my church. Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
Okay, so this came from a Reddit thread that was actually sent to us by a listener. So thank you, Amber, for sending us this Reddit thread. I spent way too much time going through it and looking at it, but it was basically a Reddit thread of reasons why they didn't get a second date.
Ooh.
Which, pretty good. So this user says, my time to shine.
Oh, great.
Went on a date with the guy who I have dubbed PowerPoint guy.
Oh, no. Can't wait.
He arrived at our first date, coffee, with a literal presentation
I'm sorry, what?
of non-negotiable demands he required from a future partner.
No.
He came with a laptop to a coffee house.
I'm sorry.
That's strong Capricorn energy.
That is Virgo or Virgo.
Organized. Yes.
Very,
definitely.
very Virgo energy, too.
Including, but not limited to, must be a housewife.
Nope, out. Already out, bruh. Bye.
This one. Produce him 2 boys and a girl in that order, gender specified.
Well, it's not up to me,
That's
sir.
not how that works.
That's not how any of this
Well, I
works.
fucking hate this motherfucker so much right now.
Not work or desire a career. Move 500 miles away to live on an acreage in his parents' house, like with them also living there.
Oh boy, you guys are gonna love my Tainted Love because that is literally this motherfucker.
Oh my God, it's this guy.
It's this guy.
Oh,
it's
no.
this guy.
Oh, goody.
Oh, no.
It's this guy.
I hate it.
Not have any male friends.
Okay.
But he also wanted someone who is open to sleeping with whoever he chose so he could watch. First date at a coffee house with a PowerPoint. I want to know what the image was that he selected for that slide.
I need to see the TikTok immediately.
I fucking hate.
I know. I'm really, really angry. I'm like putting myself in her shoes. Like if somebody was telling me this stuff.
Audacity.
I would have started
I
laughing
started
because I was like, "There's no way this is real.
This is a joke.
It's
right?
a joke. Obviously, it's
Am
a
I
fucking
on
joke.
punked? Where's Ashton Kutcher?
Right.
Like immediately.
Yeah.
But you know what? As we've said before, like sometimes it's like why when something's like a dangerous color, you know what I mean? When you're just like, oh, now I know like to stay away from this. Like, I'm glad you just came out like out the gate with something.
Exactly. I touched hot stove.
Yeah.
Hot stove is hot.
I can just walk away because red flags immediately. The list goes on. He didn't ask me a single question about my life or interests, just spat out this list of stuff and talked about himself for 2 hours.
How are you there for 2 hours, bruh?
Exactly. At which point I politely bailed. I'm like, that's
fuck. Yeah. No.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm sorry. I really feel
half an hour
per
or
your
less.
PowerPoint. I just am not. It's not going to work out.
It's not a fit, bruh.
No.
Makes me think of. I think it was the last episode, Keegan. You were talking about like men who don't like women. They like women, women's anatomy.
Yeah,
but they don't like women.
Yeah, very clearly. And this is one of those people.
That's one of those people.
Yeah,
he's like loves the anatomy, but no, that's some fucking
want to
patriarchy.
Treat you like a
right
human.
There. Yeah. Ugh.
Wow.
Burn it down.
Well, I fucking hate that.
Sorry.
All right, next. So, I got this from Reddit as well. It says, I was living in the UK at the time. I went out with an intern from work who was a solid 9-10. First of all, that's your problem right there. You don't go for 10s. I am not the yin yang twins. I am not looking for a dime that's top of the line.
No.
I'm looking for like a solid like 6, 7.
Yeah.
Who knows where my clit is? Like, you know what I mean?
That's asking for
a lot.
I know.
Really.
I know. That's practically a 10. Really.
Yeah, it is.
Really is.
Yeah.
Anyway, it just you know.
Yeah, I mean, we told those stories a couple weeks ago, I think, where they were like, he was rubbing my pelvic bone.
I got just like I said, a 7.
Yeah, we're good.
Finds the clit.
Yeah, and then also like doesn't try to like rub it off.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's you're not winning awards.
No,
not a scratcher.
It's not a scratcher.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you know.
Why do you have a penny down there, sir? We went to a cheap enough restaurant, then on to bowling. I hate this date already. A cheap restaurant and then bowling. No, thank you.
You hate bowling.
I hate bowling. Yeah, sorry.
Well,
that's a me thing. I know.
Especially now, it's like
I know.
COVID city.
I know.
Because I like bowling, but yeah, I can't stick my fingers in other people's finger holes. I can't do that.
Yeah, no, not anymore. Not anymore. The bowling is gone now. It does not exist.
Mm-mm.
Especially because, all bowling food, like bowling alley food is all like C grade, all of it.
Oh,
like that nacho cheese has been sitting in that vat for 3 weeks.
Yeah. There is straight up hantavirus and botulism.
Oh,
and before we just ate it up, just nom nom nom
nom nom nom. I'm a very socially aware guy, so believe me when I tell you that I was 100% getting, quote, do me vibes from her. She was dressed to the nines with a nice amount of skin on show. I was thinking of all the Christmases I had come together. I even went as far as to text my flatmate to buckle up and put in the earplugs.
Oh.
Our flat had paper thin walls.
Considerate, I guess. That's right. Presumptuous, but considerate.
Presumptuous, yes. She's sitting beside me, rubbing my thigh, and I'm thinking to myself that I'm going to ride her like Seabiscuit when she makes her move. Alas, not the move I was anticipating. Is there room in your life for Jesus Christ?
No.
Flirty fish.
Me. Yeah, good one.
I bought you this whole box of Eucharist.
This was greeted with a deadpan stare. If you're ever in the UK, you will notice that they are not religious people at all. So it was she was a recruiter for a local Christian sect, a cult even.
Yeah, there you go.
I got the fuck out of there like my arse was scalded.
Yep.
Worst part, my flatmate and friends knew.
Oh.
This sect was notorious.
And we've talked about that before. Like, you went on a date with a 10, and it was like...
He was so hot.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
so hot.
He did the same thing.
Yeah.
They can't be trusted.
No, that's what I'm saying. You don't go for the 10.
You're too hot.
Too hot to go for a 10.
Something's wrong with you.
Wow. This Christmas episode is really something, guys.
It's all over the place.
I love it. I love it.
We're moving in a new direction. moving forward, and moving beyond smoking. We are Altria, and our companies are leading the way in moving adult smokers away from cigarettes by taking action to transition millions toward potentially less harmful choices. As we move from being known as a tobacco company to being recognized as a tobacco harm reduction company, Altria is moving beyond smoking. Find out how at altria.com.
I have the Tainted Love this week, and this is another snapped episode.
Love to see it.
Love to see it. This one, I felt like I'm doing it, and I'll explain my reason for doing it for this specific Christmas episode.
Okay.
When we get to the end. But I think you guys will pick it up. All right.
It happened on December 24th.
No. There you go. There you go.
That's it.
Okay. July 18th, 1998. Daniel Carlson makes a frantic 911 call from his mobile home in rural Kapowsin, Washington. He had come home from work to find his wife lying on the sofa, shot dead. Now, police arrive to a very odd scene.
I know this story.
Yeah.
I know this story.
They enter the house to a porno movie playing on the TV, and Lisa's body is lying back on the couch. Her sweatpants are down around her ankles, and there is a vibrator. Yeah, it's bad, and it's on, and they're like, what is going on here? The house is completely ransacked. They immediately turn to Daniel. They're like, hi,
Yeah.
what is going on here? And he says, like, he had been at work. Like, he had
Literally
to
just got
arrive.
home.
Literally just got home because his mother called him at work and was like, hey, your twin boys, who were 3 years old at the time, showed up at my house without Lisa, and I can't get a hold of her. Like, what the hell? So he had just come home from work. And so they're like, okay, well, that's weird. Where's your mom's house? It's 100 yards away from them. So they live on a mobile home
Okay.
on their parents' property.
Seems kind of odd that the mother-in-law didn't just go over there. Like, you're close.
That's the next question. We'll get into the reason why she did not go over there. So, exactly. Police then speak with Carol Carlson, Daniel's mother. Number one question, why did she not go over to Lisa's house to check? Knock on the doors. Carol said she figured Lisa was asleep and had called a couple of times to get her to wake up, but did not stop by there as there was tension between her and Lisa, and she didn't want to cause a problem. So, Lisa Carlson, born Lisa Dahm, worked in nursing in Tacoma, Washington, and that's where she met shy, introverted Daniel, who's working there with his mother and father. Lisa was outgoing and funny with a quick wit, and within 6 months, the pair were married and renting a small home outside Tacoma.
Quick question.
Yeah.
All three people work at the same place?
Yep.
Mom, dad, and
It's a
son.
family business.
But it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
A hospital.
It was yeah, they all work there.
Sorry, I tuned
Well,
that out.
That's weird.
Sometimes in a small town, like,
Okay.
well, Tacoma is not small though.
It's not.
But I will say, like, in smaller towns, like the hospital or the jail or the
Sure.
Walmart is going
Okay.
to be the main employer, and like everybody in a small town will work at that.
That's
thing.
a lot of concentrated family time.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
you live on the same plot of land, you work in the same place. That's a lot of time with your parents. Like I love my parents, but that's a lot of time.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're 6 months, they're married, they're renting a small home outside Tacoma, and Dan's childhood friend, Sean McKillop, often drops by to hang out. Things seemed perfect until the twins were born. Childcare's no joke in this country.
True.
To our foreign listeners, we don't have like anything,
No,
basically.
like, honestly, it is so scary. Like the prospect of having a child is so scary because of that. Because it's like I know people who work just to pay for their childcare.
Exactly.
Like it's so insane. It's like, ugh.
And what's messed up is because they had twins, that's double
doubled.
the cost. It just doesn't make sense for Lisa to work. They would have actually lost money having to pay for childcare.
Yeah, and that's so sad too, because it does force a lot of parents, usually the mother, out of the workforce because it doesn't make financial sense. Again, like if you're going to work and your work is just covering childcare, it's like, what's the point when you could just be,
Yeah, we've seen that in the past couple of years with the pandemic, the amount of women that have had to drop out of the workforce because childcare is such an issue.
Yeah,
it's awful.
It's really awful.
I will say once again, though, it just happened recently to me. We were at dinner. Who said it? I feel like you guys were there, and somebody was, oh no, it wasn't. It was a work thing that I was out, and somebody was like, was talking about how I used to travel all the time for work, and one of my coworkers was like, oh my gosh, you watched your kids while you were. I was like, well, they have these other things called parents as well that are father.
That was with us. That was with us because we were at dinner, and our friend. That's something that like her mother-in-law said, like, oh, it's so nice that Mike is watching the kids or whatever.
Right.
And or watching your son. And she's like, yeah, he's not babysitting.
Yeah.
He's a parent. He's a
yeah.
father. Like,
it's so funny because that literally just happened though at my work party too. Somebody literally asked me that question. I was like, that's so funny because I literally told them the same story, which was I had a coworker who had 4 children under the age of 10 and no one asked him, not ever once.
How do you balance?
Who watches your kids while you're gone? Who the fuck do you think watches? They just don't. Oh, it's so frustrating. Anyway, but moms don't need to work because they are caretakers. Anyway.
Right. So the other option was that they had to live on just Dan's salary, which isn't cutting it either. And it's not long before the young family is strapped for cash. Now, Dan's parents actually have an easy solution. They are living in the country in that rural Kapowson, that town that's like an hour and a half away. They were like, you can come and put a mobile home on the property so that the young couple could save on rent and babysit him to get them out of the hole, take the pressure off.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like a great plan at the time, for sure. Like if you're in that situation, I would
have done
probably
the same.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank
you.
Things are like dire. Like you've got 2 young kids. You got to do, and Lisa loves Tacoma. She loves kind of like this, a city life.
Yeah, but for a couple years.
Yeah,
you got to get on your feet.
Do what you got to do.
So she agrees. The spring of 1998, they move into a tiny house right next to Carol's. So, like I said, police are so confused by the scene. The body, it's the ransacking. They're trying to figure out. Daniel has an alibi. Carol's story makes sense. They're like, okay. So they find 3 .22 caliber casings, but no murder weapon. No suspicious fingerprints or DNA or signs of a forced entry. A house ransacked, but nothing missing. First of all,
why?
Okay.
Why? So many of those stories. Just take
something.
Anything.
Take it and hide it. Take it and bury it in the backyard. Throw it in a lake. Whatever. But it's like always.
Yeah,
people
not
are like,
trying to give you any
not
tips,
even
but
doing.
I really
the
feel
least.
like doing the least.
Everyone always messes up. They're like, oh, it must have been a burglary. It's like you can't just dump out drawers and say,
you got to
that's
take
not
some
how it
high
works.
price items.
Burglary is actually a theft of things, not just a ransacking of things.
Who goes into someone's house and just like, I'm just going to open all the drawers and take out all the clothes? Like, no one would. Why?
No, it's not how this works. So, finally, a CSI person also tells the detective, like, okay, this is not how, because she had been shot, but that's not how she was. This body has been posed. Mm-hmm. And the way her body was placed in such a compromising position was a super red flag. That says
feels
humiliation,
very
degradation, and a strange burglar wouldn't take the time to do this. But Daniel's alibi is rock solid, so police are stymied. So what is going on here? Now, going back in time, Carol is super thrilled when they first move in a few months ago because they just moved in. This happened in July of 1998, her murder. They moved in the spring.
Oh, wow.
So, like 2 months.
Timeline is V short.
Yeah.
Carol's super thrilled to have the grandbaby so close, as well as her son back under her care. In fact,
he's not
her
back under your care.
Gross.
He's an adult man who's living on your property in his own home with his own family.
well, when it's time to eat, Dan would go over to his mother's
No.
where she would prepare his lunch for him, even cutting the crusts off
Get
his
the fuck
sandwiches
out
just
of
like
here.
he likes.
Is this an adult we're talking about?
He would come home from work and Lisa, who's still not working, is taking care of the kids all day. He would like drop his shit off and go and hang out
No.
with his mom and dad.
No. Okay, so here's okay.
How do you feel about this?
I have thoughts.
Yeah, let's
I
hear
have
him.
lots of thoughts. Having an adult son who's 24, who's living at home currently, ask me how many times I've made him a sandwich since he's.
You're an adult. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can make it.
Guess
make it
what?
yourself.
There's food. Go make it.
Mhm.
In fact, he made me dinner last night because I
Oh,
was sick.
that's sweet.
So
Yeah,
Eats
no,
it.
it's just, look, the thing is, yeah, your family, if my family's here, like I'll cook dinner. Like if I offer to make you a
They're
sandwich, I'm like, hey,
visiting.
I'm making stuff. Or even, whatever. If I'd be like, hey, I'm making something. Do you want something? Because I'm already in the kitchen or whatever. Like that's fine. But it's the expectation of like, it's the expectation of it every day. It's
Well-
being treated like an actual child when you're an adult. Like,
the other thing that I think of, I'm like, okay, I'm Lisa. Whirlwind romance, like 6 months and then getting married, having these twins, having serious financial issues,
Stress. Yeah.
having to move to a place where I'm by myself
odd man out.
all fucking
Yeah.
day,
yeah.
taking care of these kids, nothing to, and then you're just gonna go
Yeah.
and hang.
No.
Like, I'm not.
No.
And his mom should tell him that as well. Like
Mommy loves
your
this.
mom should say like, "Hey, you need to go support your wife and be with your children." Like it's such a weird.
Oh, it's so fucking weird.
It's very, very weird. And we're getting weirder because Carol also likes to drop by unannounced all the time. So that's Lisa's only break from watching the kids or doing anything is her mother-in-law just stopping by unannounced. And Carol takes to calling the kids her babies,
Nope.
which sets Lisa off. She tries to set up healthy boundaries with her mother-in-law, but they're promptly broken. When Lisa doesn't answer the door, her mother-in-law will peek in the windows.
This sounds like Everybody
try to
Loves
spy
Raymond.
on her.
That's what this sounds like.
Oh, and honestly, Everybody Loves Raymond is
Toxic.
very toxic.
Look, I have seen that show so many times because it was one of those that I would just like put on like when I'm doing stuff or whatever because it's just like a standard sitcom. But the number of times I can't believe Anthony would watch it with me by the end because like the number of times I would pause it and be like, this is some bullshit. Like
you can't. Yeah, there's no healthy boundaries in that show at all. It's really it's the same.
deeply, it's just like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So Carol also has very strong opinions on how the boys should be raised and why Lisa's doing it all wrong. My head is on fire right now.
I know. I'm just like,
And you would feel so trapped in this situation because you don't have other options, and she knows that.
Yeah.
The mother-in-law knows that.
Yeah.
She knows
She's
it.
got her cornered. That's
Got her
awful.
cornered, and Lisa definitely feels like she's the odd man out. Even worse, she begins to discover exactly where the money troubles are coming from. Dan frequently spends a ton of money on lottery tickets
what?
and has opened a ton of credit cards that Lisa didn't know about.
What?
Yeah. So they're even more financially strapped than she had originally realized when they were in a bad position and they had to move. She finds out exactly how bad things actually are. They're forced
Lottery tickets.
Yeah. That's not the solution.
I
Fucking scratchers.
my fury right now.
Cassie's triggered on every level.
This is so much where I'm just like, it's a story about family. It's family for the holidays.
Oh God!
Just in time. We're triggering all of our listeners just before they have to go spend time with their in-laws.
Exactly.
It's like, good luck.
Happy
Have fun.
holidays. Oh my gosh. So they're forced to begin the process of declaring bankruptcy, and Lisa is just done with this mama's boy. She has fucking had it, especially when talks about their finances begin to get physical. Lacking the resources, they agree to continue living together, but to separate. Once the bankruptcy is done, so is the marriage. It only took 2 months from their move-in, but Dan's on the couch now.
Jeez, 2 months.
Damn.
Right. The only bright spot in Lisa's life is when their friend from Tacoma, Sean, comes to visit. He visits often whenever Dan is working, which drives Dan's parents over. You can't. They are so angry about this. They feel justified now to start watching her and telling Dan exactly what they see, which he's aware of. He knows his marriage is over. He also knows that Lisa and Sean have begun seeing each other.
Get a life, parents.
Honestly.
Get a life. Get some hobbies.
Yeah, well, their
Please,
hobbies
I'm
are their
begging you.
son.
Yeah.
It is so unhealthy.
The hobby. One
Yeah,
hobby.
One hobby. That's it.
Dan.
That's
Oh.
Dan. Get a hobby. I got one. It's Dan. So basically, they start watching her, all this stuff. So one time Sean comes over and he's just doing laundry, and the twins are home and stuff. And Lisa and Dan have this agreement, yes, I do know that you're dating Sean. Can you not be physical with him in the house? So if you're going to do that over at Sean's place, which is an acceptable,
That's
reasonable
Mhm.
thing. And so she's like, yeah, that's fair. Sean's doing laundry. They're hanging out with the twins and everything like that. Carol bursts in the door, screaming at her, calling her all kinds of names, that sort of thing.
In front of her children.
In front of her children. And so they finally get Carol out. Lisa's shaken in through the door, busts Daryl. Yes, that's right. Carol and Daryl. Daryl is her husband.
Stop.
So now Daryl comes in and he's screaming at her, how dare you cheat on my son? And he's blind fury. Try to choke Lisa.
Okay.
Sean finally gets him off, and it's it clears for him. He's like, wait, you guys are dressed? Is what Daryl says. And that's when Lisa and Sean realized that Carol had told Daryl that Lisa and Sean were basically doing it, and Daryl came to defend his son's honor.
Okay, well, first of all, shouldn't have done that anyway.
Right.
Yeah. So they call the police, and the police take Daryl off the property. He spends the weekend in jail. Lisa declines to press charges, however, does file a restraining order against Daryl. And this is leading up to, we're really close to the murder now. This is why Carol and Daryl aren't going to check on Lisa. They're using that as an excuse.
Right.
You have a restraining order against us.
I can't even go to the house.
I can't even go to the house. She won't even let me in the house. So an uneasy truce settles over the property. The in-laws wouldn't come over when Lisa was home. When Lisa was home, Dan was at work. When Dan was at home, Lisa left. So police, remembering that violent assault, they check out Daryl's alibi. It's also solid. He was at work. And Carol's story makes sense of why she didn't go over there and check it out. And there are messages on the answering machine confirming her story, that she called and she's like, wake up, the kids just came over here, blah, blah, blah. They also get reports from the family that there was a strange white van in the area and investigate. Strange white van.
Always.
Never good.
Always. They also speak with Sean, who had seen her that day and asked to see his guns in order to clear him, and they execute a search warrant on Daryl and Carol Carlson, where they find Carol's journal.
Oh,
Dear
my God.
diary, I'm going to
Why?
kill this bitch.
This journal is a handwritten log of Dan and Lisa's marriage.
Oh my
More
God.
specifically, every single thing Lisa was doing wrong in her marriage and as a mother. It tracks her housekeeping, when she comes and goes. It tracks everything.
Wow.
And it is detailed. I mean, it's
That's
blurbs,
so-
1035.
Okay, how... That's so embarrassing. Outside of everything else. Take a look at your life. You're obsessed with your son's marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have nothing
You have
else going
nothing
on. That
else.
is so sad.
That is really sad, right? It's
Desperate.
They're following her around all over town. They are stalking Lisa. So they literally sit while she's hanging out for 7 hours outside of Sean's apartment, being she was at Sean's apartment from this time to this time. They're following her everywhere. And I'm like, these people, I thought they worked.
No, I don't know how they're holding the job down. I certainly don't.
No. Police take it as evidence. Meanwhile, Sean has also provided his own airtight alibi. He was in chat logs all day that timestamp him at his house. He also provided police with a tape that Lisa had made where she records a conversation with Dan where he admits to choking her in an argument. So everyone's alibis are airtight except Lisa's mother swears up and down she left messages for her daughter that day. They had been talking frequently. Lisa's mom knew that
about the problems,
and everything. So they've been talking. Lisa's mom had tried to give her money to help her get out, all these things. So she was really well aware. And she's like, I know I called her. I know I left messages. And they're like, there's only 2 messages on the machine from Carol. So they're like, hey, FBI, here's an answering machine, crack the code. So they're like, you got luminol, you can figure that out.
Right?
Science. And not only that, when they factor in Sean's information about when Lisa had left, they actually see that there is about a half an hour window where Dan could have done some stuff. So they're like, okay, let's wait to see what the FBI comes back with. FBI is able to prove that the answer machine was tampered with, and so we know all this. But it's been 3 years have gone by.
What?
Police just have circumstantial evidence and gut feelings that Dan had murdered Lisa with his mother as an accomplice, but no smoking gun.
Literally.
The biggest piece of evidence that they did have was the unsettling diary that Carol kept, outlining their obsession with following Lisa and trying to paint her as an unfit mother. Sean had also told police that the night before she died, Lisa had made a decision to no longer wait until the bankruptcy to leave Dan, that she had had enough. Sean begged her not to say anything to Dan, to wait until he went to work and just pack the kids and leave. And he is positive that she told him that day. And the combo of losing his kids plus being on the hook for child support sent him over the edge, and he killed her. And then went to work for his alibi while his mother staged
her
the
body
scene.
that way is so disgusting that they would do that.
The mother.
Disgusting.
The mother.
Wow.
Awful.
I cannot,
Right. So Dan and Carol are finally charged and convicted of first-degree murder, despite a mostly circumstantial case. However, 3 years after that, their verdicts are overturned due to a police error.
What?
They were not allowed to take that diary in the parameters of their search warrant. They were looking for the gun. They had no right to take that diary. So they would have to retry the case without that. To avoid another trial, Lisa's parents agreed to a plea deal. Daniel agreed to plead guilty to second-degree murder and gets 23 years. Carol receives a far lesser punishment for pleading guilty to sexually violating a corpse.
Ugh.
She receives time served and walks free.
Wow.
To this day, Lisa's parents actually think Carol is the one who murdered their daughter.
I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. That tracks for me.
And Daniel, ever the dutiful son, took the rap for her.
Yep.
The twins are with Dan's grandparents.
Pardon?
With Lisa's parents granted visiting rights. And Dan is due out in 2023. And that is the unsettling family story of Dan and Carol Carlson.
Woof. Woof,
Right?
woof, woof.
So when you're sitting around the fire with your family,
Roasting chestnuts as you do.
As
Like
you
you
do.
do.
Listening to hardcore Carol of the Bells. Just maybe have some gratitude that you don't
Let's have a little gratitude, okay?
that mother-in-law, that monster-in-law.
Ugh.
Truly.
Woof.
There's so much about that. And we're just like,
That whole case is
it's
so
fucked up. Like I said, what the mother did, because I'm positive.
Yeah.
It was the mother.
Yeah.
I don't know who killed Lisa, but I'm positive it was the mother that staged the scene to make Lisa look
that way.
that way.
For sure.
And I just think that is
Filthy.
Yep.
Yeah. Awful.
Yeah. So, what are we watching this week?
Woof.
Get us out of this funk.
Jesus.
Oh, man.
Well, I have been struggling mentally. So I have just been rewatching comfort stuff, which of course means that I have rewatched The Witch and Haunting of Hill House this week.
Wonderful. Family fare for the holidays.
Yeah, it's just real nice and cozy. Yeah, talk about another family tale. Both of those. Quite complex family stories, but yeah. So I've just been kicking it, rewatching some old shit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. What have I been watching? Just I finished watching Survivor.
Brilliant.
Yeah. That's kind of where my head's been. Just watched the season's finale of Survivor, which I can't help myself. It's my show. Some people have The Bachelor. I have Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, great.
No shame.
It's the OG.
It is. It's so good.
I had the night to myself last night, so I treated myself to sushi, and Spencer finally watched. Gotta say, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either.
Were you expecting to like it more?
I was expecting to like it more because I really, really liked Jackie. It's the same director that did Jackie with Natalie Portman.
Mm-hmm.
There were parts of it that I did like. I did like, the kind of fantasy of her hallucinating Anne Boleyn and stuff like that. Some of those things and seeing the symmetry between the two. But Kristen Stewart is just...
Kristen Stewart playing Kristen Stewart
as whispers a lot. She's very whispery in this movie, and I didn't love that choice.
I feel like a lot of Academy bait movies are very whispery. Like I feel like that's like highbrow acting to a lot of people. They're just like God, I love him, but like Daniel Day-Lewis is very whispery as well.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like there's that vibe where you're just like this means good acting.
Yeah.
Next auditions, guys.
Whisper the entire time.
But that also led me into
intense, so I must whisper.
Exactly the Downton Abbey movie, which I had realized I had not watched, and they're coming out with another one in the spring.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Exactly.
Yay.
So I finally watched the movie, and I was like, all right,
yeah, it's
a warm blanket.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's exactly that. It's fine. I mean, I feel like I didn't ask for it, and did I enjoy it? Sure.
But they delivered it.
Yes, and will I watch it? Yeah.
It's
will I watch another one?
Very and just like that vibes where you're like, no one asked for this,
but I'm here. I am.
We are.
Here we are. Exactly. Well, if you guys have stuff we should watch, stories that we want to share with the world, anything, reach out to us on our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstatepodcast.com. And we love you guys so much. Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.